remember that day as if it were yesterday. Gloria and I had just finished dinner, and we were getting ready for bed when the phone rang in the other room. I thought that was odd because I didn't know who would be calling us this late, but I went ahead and answered it. It was our local sheriff, and it sounded serious. A few minutes later, we saw the police lights flashing outside of our home. The local marshal had arrived. Out of the back of the police car, I saw two young girls step out. The marshal told us about how they were sisters, and I could tell they were so upset and scared. They were runaways and had nowhere else to go. He didn't want to put them in the holding cell, and because it was late in the day, he asked us if we could care for them. And of course, we said yes. Little did we know that this was the beginning of our new path that God was setting us on.
When my grandparents said yes to those two little girls 50 years ago, that started all of this, the beautiful ministry that is Happy Hill Farm. With God's help, we help students from all kinds of backgrounds be all that He created them to be.
Growing up before I came to Happy Hill Farm, I had a lot of negative experiences. I came from a home that alcohol and drugs were very prevalent. Unfortunately, that sort of interfered in my parents' ability to be able to raise me, which therefore gave me the opportunity to run rampant and live a life that was super risky, getting into situations that a 12-year-old should definitely not be in. Coming to Happy Hill Farm, I realized by learning about God and the positive experiences that I had from the individuals here that Satan has a way of creating a pattern, and that pattern was creating this generational issue. And so by being here at Happy Hill Farm, I learned about what God had planned for me, what He wanted from me, what He thought about me, and I got my value from God here.
For 50 years, we've been saying yes to helping kids in need. So who are the kids at Happy Hill Farm? Where do they come from? Well, they have two things in common. First, they're all coming out of low opportunity situations. Now, this can mean that maybe they're being raised by their elderly grandparents or in a not very good school district or coming from a challenging part of the world internationally. The other thing they have in common is that they are all full of potential. These are bright and driven kids that just need opportunity to be the leaders of tomorrow. So that's what we've been doing here at Happy Hill Farm for 50 years, stepping in that opportunity gap and providing all the things that kids need to be all that God created them to be.
Happy Hill Farm is 500 acres of rolling hills and valleys, and they grow children here. It's better than a boarding academy or any facility because you're out in the country. You are absolutely in God's country. The sky is the limit, and that's the most important thing. Boarding schools are a dime a dozen. This is focused on Jesus Christ, and that is the only way.
February of 2022 was very hard for me, especially because there was a war in my country, which is still going on. That being my last year of high school, it was so challenging and so stressful for me, not knowing what's going to happen to my parents, if I'll ever see them again. I remember FaceTiming them and them telling my sister to take care of me if anything happens, and that was the hardest thing ever. Just not knowing what's gonna happen. In moments like that, I was so grateful to be here and feel safe and feel the encouragement from all the staff members. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be in a place where I don't hear all the missiles flying over my roof, and just having something to eat, something to wear, not having to worry about what comes tomorrow, makes me feel like home, because it is my home. It's my home away from home.
I met Ed back in about 1975, and it was a result of reading a book, a biography on George Mueller, who was involved with orphanages. So I was going to McKinney Bible Church. I called someone there and said, hey, do you know someone who's maybe into this? Yep, there's this guy down in Glen Rose. His name's Ed Shipman. And he and I hooked up at that point and continued for at least, 50 years almost?
Here at Happy Hill Farm, our students live in these beautiful residential houses. And in it, they are provided all the loving care they deserve. A world-class education, wonderful extracurricular opportunities, and it's just a place where they can focus on the things that matter, all of those character-building experiences, instead of maybe where their next meal may come from or what adults they can trust. And we do all of this incredible work for thousands of kids over the last 50 years without using a penny of state or federal funding. We've never been a United Way agency. All the money raised is from kind and generous individuals like you. Hardly any of our students here pay any tuition. This place exists because God sends good folks like you to support the kids here. So if you feel compelled as you're watching this to give, I encourage you to visit happyhillfarm.org/hope. About half the students here at one time or another participate in FFA and AG, and all that goes into caring for an animal, taking responsibility for that life, raising that animal, seeing really the farm-to-table experience can be life-changing for many of our kids. The hard work, the perseverance, all of the beautiful concepts that we find when we think of farming in America is at play here at Happy Hill Farm. And this special piece of land, since the 1800s, has been a farm. So I'm thankful that not only is this a beautiful and a safe place, but it's a place that has provided for a lot of people for a long time and continues to raise and develop and grow great kids.
Talking about Happy Hill Farm brings me a lot of joy. To experience and see and witness the peace that is on this property is just amazing to me.
Yes, they need to learn all the other skills, reading, writing, arithmetic, but they need to know that Jesus Christ died for them, that they can come to Him, that they can have a new life for Him, that their life can soar as a result. So to me, that is the paramount thing of this whole place, and it makes a kid's life a 180 from what it was before.
So not only are their physical and emotional needs being met at Happy Hill Farm, the most important need they have to know God and who He created them to be is being met here as well. 80% of the kids that we help show up from non-Christian backgrounds. So they haven't heard the gospel, they don't know who God is, what He's done for them, their place in His story, nothing. And so through the sharing of the gospel, we see so many kids baptized, so many discipled, so many go on into ministry because God met them here on this campus. This is the foundation of everything we do at Happy Hill Farm.
Because of the passion that the Shipman family and the founders of this ministry has placed into this farm, into this community, into the children that come here from all over the world is the reason why we're still involved. The differences they make in each of their lives, not only for that year or the number of years that they're here, but further into their careers and their entire lives. I think the greatest payback as a donor is being able to see the children flourish in a new environment that is stable, perhaps allows them to feel loved for the very first time, and grow and flourish in an environment that nurtures God first and family, and how important it is to have community, and how important it is to give them structure in their lives that they may never have experienced before.
If you're wondering, why should I be involved with the farm, I can say, I've seen hundreds of kids' lives significantly changed. When children would come and give their testimonies about where they came from, how they were found, what the farm did to them to help them, and where they have graduated and gone on to college, my goodness, there could not be a better facility.
We've been a part of the Happy Hill family for multiple decades, and we've seen this model work year after year, child after child, where they're making a difference in kids' lives and changing their legacy that they can now pass on to future generations.
So now you know all about Happy Hill Farm. We're more than a boarding school. This is the place where bright futures are built on the traditional family structure, built on the Christian faith. This is a place where kids, regardless of their background, get all the opportunities they deserve to be all that God created them to be. So thank you for considering supporting this ministry, and you can visit us at happyhillfarm.org/hope.